Grüezi miteinander und Sali zusammen. Hello and welcome. Today we are talking about our brand new and very first Kontakt library, which is dedicated only to house pianos. We recorded, we processed, we layered several piano sounds and samples to come up with a batch of very unique house pianos that pretty much are destined to work in an environment where you need these typical chord staccative pianos. So I'm pretty happy to introduce you also to our first Kontakt GUI. And so let's dive right in. All right, I am Christian Hirt. I am based in Zurich, Switzerland, as well as in Nashville, Tennessee. Today we are here in my recording studio in Zurich, Switzerland, and this is the run-through of our first Kontakt library called House Pianos. And as you already can see here, this is the GUI of our house pianos, the main instrument. And by default, it opens up this page. And as you can hear, there is a funny preset loaded called Aaron's Halloween Piano. Which is not really something to take so serious. I just wanted to have this very special piano, which was basically a toy piano sampled, where my son, when he was a baby, would scream and yell and sing along in the background. And I recorded a few notes on my phone and just imported it as a fun patch into this library as well. But the actual sounds here are starting from top to bottom. You get this drop-down menu when you click on this icon here, and you get all these house piano options that you can choose from. So basically we're starting with the first piano. I'm showcasing some other options. Or another one. Let's skip a few, randomly choose this one. Here's another option. Another piano. Showcase this one. That's a little too low. Let's jump up an octave. And you see you are getting 20 regular piano layers where we really recorded all sorts of piano sources and sampled all sorts of old school pianos that we could find from synthesizers and stuff, and layered them, processed them to really fit in that specific piano house environment. And to be honest, I know I announced this library actually already a few years ago, but I kept working on it and I also kept trying it out. So I wanted to also equalizing these piano samples in a way that you can basically use them directly in your project, and you do not even have to equalize too much, right? Even though if you want to equalize certain things, there is an additional settings page here if you're clicking on this icon here below, and you're getting to this extra page here, and I'm going to also explain all the different layers that we are having in this GUI. So for every layer, here you're getting these extra EQ options where you can EQ the layers individually. So let's showcase another piano sound. This is just one layered piano sound with any layers that we programmed in the GUI. We're getting to that in just a little bit. Or and one more, let's pick number 19 and do this in C minor, just for the fun of it. In addition to these 20 regular pianos, you are also getting certain layers where I already tried to run them through certain amps and certain saturation filters. Also, these can be very useful in certain a little bit harder techno tracks or lo-fi tracks, so check them out. Here, number 26. And then there is a small section of additional key sounds, regular keyboard sounds. Some FM sounds that I use heavily in productions of mine, especially in breakdowns when I want to create a certain emotional environment and I need certain staccative support from chords and chord sounds. Then I come back and use these kind of sounds. Then as a bonus, we are having this famous chord sounds that I used for a remix I made together with EDX. And here's the second layer of that. And that's basically it. The last instrument here is Aaron's Halloween piano that is starting up by default. But as you can tell, the idea here is actually to concentrate on these really thick and energetic house pianos. And what I now also try to incorporate, because oftentimes I just do not want an only piano sound. Sometimes I want some layers that I can layer underneath my piano sound just to make it a little fuller or fit a little bit more in my beats or in my musical environment. So I came up with this layer system where I'm actually allowing to blend in certain additional instruments. So we're having a pad source here that we could, let's for example just here take the house piano for this next showcases, and then here we keep the calypso keys, and you see here you also have various different pad options and as well as a few sign options, because signs are actually often used as layers when I want to just put something underneath to make it a little bit more full or create a little bit of a different sound than just the original sound. So I have a bunch of sign samples here, as well as these calypso keys. If you're familiar with the sound of calypso, these are these very typical keyboard sounds and these FM plug sounds that I use for his kind of music. And here, as I said, is a bunch of sampled pads that you can just layer underneath. So let's go with this calypso sound. You see here how it's coming in. I'm sorry that the camera is shaking a little bit when I play, but the camera is attached to the screen here. And when I play my MIDI keyboard, it can shake a little bit. So I'm sorry about that. But it should give you the impression of a dancing crowd when you use these samples. Ooh. All right. Another layer that I incorporated here is the transient layer, where you get an array of certain very short percussive sounds that you can use to basically add a little bit more transience to your piano sound. And here underneath you see these dots here. Here you can basically regulate in what octave you want this layer to sound in. And if you go here all the way down, and it's in a lower octave, even one more low, whatever you feel like, or you take it all the way higher, however it makes most sense for you. Here is the blend, which is basically the volume that you want in that layer. And the fourth and final layer is the noise layer. So if you want a little bit of more crystallizing sound on the top end, then just add on a little bit of noises. We have a set of regular noises, human exhale. I basically exhaled with my own voice and use this as a noise source. And I have these three bell noises that have a little bit more of a sound to it. Let's basically showcase ones with a regular noise. And let's showcase a noise bell. So the noise bells are obviously tonal, so they're adding a certain tonal information as well. But they are pitched to key, so you can just dial a little bit of this layer in, and it's perfectly in tune with your other layers. So that's the 4 layers. And then you see here, which are the amp envelope shaping. So you can, if you want, take the attack off slide a little bit if you want. Here you're manipulating all the 4 layers at the same time. Then let's say you don't want to have that long of a release. You can take the release off, sustain and decay, everything to your liking. And then here below finally is a small little effect section where you can dial in a long reverb, a room reverb, a delay, or dial in certain amount of chorus effect. By default, it is having a little bit of long reverb on, but I usually also work with a little bit of room reverb as well as a little bit of long reverb, and sometimes even I'm going here for a little bit of chorus because it just makes it a little bit wider and a little bit bigger and more epic. And then you have these 2 additional low-pass cutoff and low-pass resonance buttons, which basically are also assigned to all the 4 layers at the same time. Oops, sorry. And that's basically the first page. And on the second page, you get, as previously already said, all these additional settings. Here we're going from top to bottom, so each layer has their own settings right underneath their tab. And on the left side, you are having again the LP cutoff and the LP resonance, just like on the first page. And underneath, in case you want to mess around with those, the HP cutoff and the high pass resonance button as well. So that's that. That's the first instrument. And then, as a bonus instrument, I also programmed a second keyboard instrument. Some sounds are actually overlapping with the house pianos, and some sounds are new here. This is mainly designed and programmed to find certain keyboard or certain FM pads or certain FM staccato pads. So also here you're getting this option of the main synths. So as you can see, the Heartbreak and Promises steps are here as well. But here are a bunch of keyboard sounds that you do not have up here in the house pianos. Here you're getting a bunch of pads as well as up here in this one. There are some transients similar to what you get here in the house pianos, and just a small batch of noises, same as you have here in the house patches, but it's pretty much here, those extra keyboard sounds that you are having on hand to basically create your own keyboard sounds in combination with these 3 additional layers. The instrument UI here is designed a bit simpler than here on top, which basically just has the blend knob here for all the 4 layers as well. It has the attack, decay, sustain and release buttons right here, and here are the low pass filter, the resonant filter. There is a reverb dial and a delay button where you can add on some delays. So pretty simple here, but it's a nice addition to the house pianos here. And yeah, I have to admit, I use this in each and every production where I need house pianos. So instead of going to layer house pianos and mix them and lose precious time doing and creating and programming them, I basically have the shortcut version here. I can just open up one of these 2 instruments and start making music. So the fun is basically not stopping because I do not have to stop my workflow. I can just keep on doing the good stuff, which means making music, playing the piano, come up with cool chord progressions and make nice tracks. And that's about it. It's a pretty cool little tool for all you guys out there who make house, tech house and piano house music. So yes, go to soundsfat.com, grab your copy, make your big summer tracks and stay safe. Thank you very much. Bye guys.